Hi, welcome back to the course. Moving on, here is a big picture for MVC architecture. I'm not very good at creating a presentation, but I tried myself to bring this out. Initially, the browser sends a request to the server. The server takes that request. Depending upon the URL, the respective controller will be executed. In real-time projects, there will be n number of controllers. For example, register controller, login controller, employee controller, student controller. But depending upon the URL, the respective controller will be executed. Here, the controller is nothing but a servlet, which will hold the control flow of the entire application. Once the controller got the request, process it, and if the request is expecting additional data, then it will delegate it to the model. Here the model is nothing but a POJO, plain old Java object, which will hold the business logic. For example, querying it to the database, getting the database connection, some kind of business logic. The model will take that request. If the request is expecting a database records, then the model will take the database connection from a helper class. Here the helper class is also a model class, which is responsible for getting the database connection. Once the model has got the database connection, it will query it to the database and get the database records and send it back to the controller. The controller will send the data to the view component. Here the view component is nothing but a JSP. Once the JSP has got the data, it will rearrange the data in a specific format. For example, if the user wants to display the data in a tabular format, then the view component will rearrange the data in a tabular format and send the JSP back to the browser as a response. So this is the whole architecture for MVC. The servlet controller will hold the control flow of the entire application, and the model will hold the business logic, and the view will hold the designing of the application. Sorry for the background noise. Someone has bursting the crackers. Moving on, the main benefit of the MVC architecture is to separate the business logic from the view component. We are never going to mix up the business logic with the view component. The model will always responsible for querying to the database or some kind of business logic. The controller will responsible for the control flow of the application. The view component will responsible for designing the application. So this is the whole funda of this MVC architecture. So in the next video, we're going to create a MVC based application. We are not going to create a database application in a very next video. First, we are going to create a MVC based application without a database. Once we got comfortable with the process, then we are going to do a database operations. So I hope you understand this MVC architecture. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask in the forum or in the Q&A. I will try to answer you. And one more thing, this is not a complete reference to MVC architecture, because MVC design pattern, it's a huge concept. If we start talking about that, it's never going to end. I highly recommend you to explore by yourself and do some research. If you have any queries regarding this MVC architecture, post your questions in the comment section or in the forum. I'll try to answer, and other also will answer for your questions. And in the next video, we're going to create a MVC application. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.